Amandla. The program directors, members of the Skweyiya and Mazibuko families, Tutugile, children and grandchildren, His Excellency, the President of the Republic, Cyril Ramaphosa, the former President, President Mbeki and Sister Nele. And allow me, in the interest of time, to say fellow mourners. Zola's departure from our midst is sad, but it also means the completion of the beautiful tapestry of his life. And I just want to look at two small aspects, because there are people who have spoken about many aspects of his life. I want to speak about the aspect when we went to government for the first time, because Zola had been very much involved in preparing, not himself, but the ANC for governance. And he was one of the more knowledgeable ministers about governance. And I was one of the ministers that had not had the opportunity to go abroad for training in government. Comrades had gone to different parts of the world, but a few of us hadn't. So I had to rely on Zola a lot, because I knew nothing about government. And he was the Minister of Public Administration, and he was very helpful. He guided us without reservation. And he did it without you feeling stupid or inadequate. But sometimes he was also very firm. I remember one day, I think we're just coming out of cabinet, and he said, Nkosazana, usamgcineleni lo DG wakho webhunu we-apartheid. You are almost the last minister to change the DG. Kwenze njani? So that's I put Zola, I will explain. I said, no, you have to explain. So I had to explain to him and the NWC why I was still keeping that DG. But what was good about Zola is that when I explained to him that I found that department with only 2 vacant posts, and I needed to integrate the health policy of the ANC health policy into the department, and I needed to have a new organogram that reflects the new policy. And that DG was the best to help me deal with the staff that he knew and the staff that trusted him. So I promised him, in a year's time, Zola, there'll be a new DG here. And then he said, okay, I understand now your logic. And so he cooperated with me in doing that. But so he was a very helpful Minister of Public Administration. And the other thing that Zola guided us on that was very new for us was to negotiate salaries, the public servants. There was a committee called Mandate Committee, where ministers would then give mandate to the negotiators. And for us, this was a very new terrain, very tough. But Comrade Zola was able to guide us, both us and the negotiators, to get through the negotiations successfully. The other aspect I would like to bring, Comrade Zola, is just how much he loved children, irrespective of who your parent was. I'll give you a story. When my eldest daughter was studying in London, and she was struggling a bit in terms of finding accommodation, things were tough. So whilst she was there, Comrade Zola Notutukile arrived in London. Comrade Zola is our High Commissioner. They invited her to their home, and she lived with them. And she had this to say about Zola. I'll just quote what she wrote. She wrote a little piece. I quote, she said, "Aunt Tutu and Uncle Zola acted as my surrogate parents when I was living in London. They made me feel at home in their home and made me missing South Africa and my parents less obvious. And Uncle Zola was extremely kind and caring and always made me feel at home. But he always also went out of his way to see that I was progressing, how I was progressing in life. But he also involved me in the many activities that were taking place in the South African mission in London. He always showed an interest in the lives of the people he worked with at the mission. He always encouraged myself and everyone around him at work to take advantage of the opportunities that came our way to improve ourselves for a better life." And then she says, "Uncle Zola had a calming effect on me. If I came home anxious and upset, once I was in his presence and explained whatever was causing my anxiety or upsetting me, melted." And she said, but Aunt Tutu was a bit of the opposite. She wasn't the one who's quiet, she was the one who's talkative, so I was always talking more to Aunt Tutu than Uncle Zola. So I closed those quotes. So I just wanted to show that he cared. He didn't have to do that. They didn't have to do that, but they did. So I just want to say, Comrade Zola, we believe that he defended all the values that we believed in at any cost, any sacrifice. He lived his life courageously, selflessly, for the betterment of other people. Let me just conclude by this famous quote from Nikolai Ostrovsky. "Man's dearest possession is life. It is given to him but once, and he must live it so as to feel no torturing regrets for wasted years. Never know the burning shame of a mean and petty past. So live that, dying, he might say, all my life, all my strength were given to the finest cause in the world, the fight for the liberation of mankind." And I think I can say without fear of contradiction that that describes Zola's life and how he lived it. May his soul rest in peace. Our condolences again to the family. Thank you.